What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Ring the Bell Philly Show, presented by SeatGeek here on the RTB Philly Sports Network. Christy, Francisco, Jason, Kent are here. I know we are streaming live, almost in the middle of the final game of the weekend series against the Braves. But look, it's not looking good. We started to go I wouldn't say at it on the group text, but I'm thinking, all right, let's just go live now and get all this stuff out in the open while we're talking about it, because we'll forget about all of it, hours from now when we would have went live anyway. As it stands right now, the Phillies are down 5-0 to the
I think
Atlanta
they just scored
Braves.
one. I
The
think it's
Phillies.
5-1.
All right, I'm trying to get I have the TV in the other room, but usually I have my phone here to get updates. So 5-1, I guess, as it presumes. Not a great outing at all out of Michael Mercado today, Jay. He got out of a really rough first inning, which was great. And like you said, you right before we
You
hit,
felt it, yeah.
you felt like, all right, look, he
Maybe he's
got
got
out of
something.
this. Maybe this is a good momentum booster for him the next few innings. That wasn't the case, as the Braves unloaded for 5 runs in the bottom of the second inning. A couple home runs there. One just bomb from Matt Olson. Look, in their last 25 games, Jay, the Phillies have 13 wins, which means it's 12 losses on the back end there. I know you did say about Harper, Schwarber, and JT, but they've only missed Schwarber and Harper for maybe 6 games. I think the big problem right now is the pitching has been real shaky as of late. Over the last 3 starts, Ranger has looked awful. A 7.46 ERA in his last 3 starts. Nola got jumped again the other day. Wheeler has looked really off. Sanchez got lit up just a few days ago. That's unfortunately, I feel like that's been the real issue lately, is that pitching staff. What says you?
Yeah, they're not looking like they were. And I think, listen, I was watching Moneyball earlier, and that's why I brought up Hatterberg. And the one
Yeah.
line they have, baseball is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they did and what this team did so well early is it wasn't just one or two guys picking you up every game. It
Mm-hmm.
was everybody.
Right.
So when you had Wheeler and you had Sanchez and you had Ranger, all like top 3 ERA, it's great at that point, and you're like, we're really loving it. But, and I've said it, the realist in me, it's not going to be there the whole time. And so the
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate thing is right now, it's like you said, they're all seeming to take that step back at the same time. So
Right.
that's where, it's good that, like you said, we're 13-12. So even with that step back, they're still going to be a 500, most likely 500 team after today in the last 26 games,
Yeah.
but you're still 3 games up or
Yep.
2 games up as of right now. Could be one, could be, still say 2. You're still 8 games up in the division.
Mm-hmm.
I said it before this weekend series. Yes, I thought they would have a much better outing.
Mm-hmm.
I believed even if the Braves won, I didn't think it was a big deal if the Phillies won. I thought it, not a big deal, but you put your foot on their throat. We've shown come, September or October that it's not that big of a deal as Atlanta's had us. But I just think they're going to right. I just think everything was going so well, and baseball's that game of ebbs and flows.
Yep.
A few of them are going to come back. So it's not, the Ranger one's a little worrisome because he was his right before the hand injury that he got blasted. The game before that, he didn't look great either. So I wonder, I said it to you, is it part of the hand? Could there be something there? But I do think, it's shown in the start before he didn't look great either. He's starting to worry me. You hope maybe his arm's not getting, he's going more than he really has in any season we've seen in the past. So that might get a little worrisome. Wheeler, I'm fine with. Sanchez is the wild card. You don't know because he doesn't have the resume, so you don't know which way he's going to tip. But you still have 3 guys in the top 12 in ERA, 4 in the top 34 of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So, I get what you're saying, but I still look at it as it's still that marathon. We still have that second half left. We got 2 series left. Let's just get through here with a lead in the division and still being the National League front runner. And then,
Mhm.
then we retool. Then we get everybody that rest that they need thoroughly, I feel, with that, especially that pitching staff.
Yeah, and look, notwithstanding with what we're talking about the pitching staff, the All-Star reserves and pitchers are going to be announced tonight at 5:30. Suarez, Wheeler, and Sanchez are first, third, and fifth in ERA in the National League.
Sure.
Nola is 10-4. He's hovering around that 3.5 ERA. He's doing Nola things. Hoffman has a 1.21 ERA with 8 saves. Strom, who has actually looked not great his last 2 outings, he also, though, has a 1.64 ERA with 44 strikeouts and only 4 walks. So,
and Kerkering, like, if you're really talking about it, Kerkering's actually looked better since he's come up, really, and in the same amount of innings as Strom. Like, Kerkering could get, if he had a name, Kerkering could be right there too, man.
I agree with you. And, speaking of Ranger, Topper did say after Saturday's just terrible start from Ranger Suarez, he did say he thinks that there's probably a little bit of fatigue and that he thinks that, there is with a lot of guys on the roster, but he's not concerned. He said none of the numbers that we measure are really jumping out at us. Do you think it's just a matter of let's just get to the All-Star break healthy? Do you think that's really what that is right now?
Yeah, to me, it's baseball. This is really, like, I know, and that's what I love about you. You live and die every pitch. It's not even every game. It's not every
It's
week.
every pitch.
It's every pitch. So I know when Chris's start, it's like, okay, like most seasons, this season, I do think it's different. I do think it's let's get to the All-Star break. That's where, to me, even our first episode this season where we give our predictions, I said I want to see where we're at the All-Star break.
Right.
To me, that's your spot. And you're 2 series out and you're still the best team in baseball. We went through this where we were slumping a little bit and the Braves fans were really, we're 5 games back. We're 4, and then, so it's just the way it is. That's where it helps to be great early and then just kind of get through the injuries because they're not big like the Braves where you're losing, they lost Acuna and Strider for the season. We still have pretty much our full team intact, really, once everybody gets back. So yeah, let's get people healthy. Let's after this All-Star break, hopefully I'm hoping Bryce sits out. But outside of that, yeah, I think that's where you're going to get these guys rolling again and picking back up. They know they're coming to their break.
For sure. And look, you mentioned it moments ago. Ranger has thrown nearly twice as many innings as he had through this very date last season. So arm fatigue could be a real thing right now with Ranger. So we're assuming he's going to make the All-Star game. I'm sure he's going to go. I'm sure he's going to throw an inning.
Probably, yeah.
What do you do after the All-Star break? Do you maybe give him an extra day off here and there?
I don't know.
How do you treat that?
Because I think maybe you stop letting him go as far. Like maybe kind of ramp him back. You haven't had to use your bullpen as much. It does stink, with Turnbull getting hurt again. Walker, you don't know that, we saw Mercado today, so you're not sure. You don't want to overtax the bullpen because you're down some starters, but it may be, start giving him that, the pitch count until come, they say late August, September, and then start ramping it back up for playoffs, and see how that works. I think that might be the best way to go. I don't want to give him, because then if you give him that extra day, it kind of throws everyone off. I think just kind of know you're getting probably 5 innings back to what, old Ranger, the guy we used to see a few years back, kind of let's see if that kind of helps it out.
Yeah, so if the Phillies do drop the final game today against the Braves, they lose the series. They'll go 3-3 on the 6-game week. The first half of the week is just very disappointing to me. I thought that could have been one that should have been a sweep, in my opinion. Overall, with this week, Jay, was it kind of what you expected? Again, I'm very disappointed. With it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I did expect. I wanted a sweep of the Cubs. I'm 10-2. The 10-2 game on that's tough. Sanchez has kind of had to worry a little bit. But I didn't expect to come in and lose 2 in a row to the Braves. I didn't expect to lose 2 to the Braves.
Yeah.
even with like me saying it's not a big series, I really don't think it is. I don't think the players believe, hey, we don't have to really worry about the Braves in the regular season because we beat them in the playoffs. I don't think they think like that, but they know, it doesn't really matter as much. But no, it's kind of I'm disappointed. I wanted a minimum of 4-2 week. This is a team, we are better than the Braves right now. The Braves, to their credit, like we talked about before, Chris Sale has played out of his mind. The kid they got pitching today has been very good this season. So they've been able to keep it together with some of their struggles as well. So it's, they're a good team. We have to remember that. The Cubs are and kind of, you don't know what they are yet, but it does stink losing to the Braves. It kind of hurts, but in the long run, I do think this Phillies team, they're set up better for the second half of the season with their stars and but with all the non-injuries that they have. Knock on wood, nobody goes down.
So I guess you can, and this is me talking myself off of a ledge. They're going to likely go 3-3 this week on a 6-game road trip against the Cubs and the Braves without Schwarber, Harper, and we've been without JT for a while now. I feel like this is the kind of week, and again,
and with, like you said, your pitching staff looking terrible, like really not great.
So I almost feel like, you know what? Flush this one down the toilet. Your 500 was an okay week, maybe given the circumstances. So look, we've already been told today that with Harper and Kyle Schwarber, looks like they could be back Tuesday. Harper ran the bases 80% on Saturday and ran the bases today full 100% speed. Schwarber did so for the second straight day. He's on track. Schwarber, that is, pronouns, pal. Schwarber is on track to be activated from the injured list on Tuesday against the Dodgers when he's first eligible. And it looks like, Harper possibly could be back by Tuesday, if not Wednesday. JT is still a little bit more, which was expected. We all expected JT was either going to be back right at the All-Star break or right after. At this point, you've gone this long without JT you've made it work.
Let him rest.
That's the kind of guy, we talk about like give Harper and Schwarber, for me, get them back in the lot. These guys are not going to play if they're not 100%. But when it comes to JT Realmuto, he should not be behind that plate until he is 100% ready to go. So that's something you do not rush. He's just so valuable to this team. So when are you excited now at the aspect? Look, you just had a 3-3 week without Harper and Schwarber.
Yeah, listen to the lineup for yesterday. Like, and I know, I know that right. We're Phillies, and I know you're a huge stock guy. You have been, and I know we're big. The fans, they love singing the song. It's catchy. It's good to do. But you have a lineup of Bryson Stott. Okay,
yeah,
now probably eventually could be this leadoff guy, but not now. Then Trey Turner. You're like, okay, Bone's having a season, and then it goes. You have Brandon Marsh as your cleanup. Nick Castellanos, to his credit's playing well recently, but for the season, he's terrible at 5. You have Cody Clemens, Rafael Marchand, who wasn't a major leaguer to start the season, David Dahl, who probably, started in the minors. He is a major league guy, but then Whit Merrifield's pinch hitting, and you have Johan Rojas. It's a tough one to say back to back.
It is
not the best of lineups you're putting out there. So I know other teams have injuries, but when you're losing, an MVP player and a guy, regardless of our feelings of him, and Kyle Schwarber, of where he should be batting, Kyle Schwarber is a huge piece of this lineup. So when you lose 2 of like probably your top 3, maybe if not your top 2 guys, you're going to have these struggles regardless. I don't think your pitching staff was ever going to be able to keep up the pace they were at.
Right.
It's other godly. So I'm really excited. Like I said, after this All-Star break, they should have most of the team back. I'm okay with Stubbs and Marchand filling out. Dude, I think they're ready. And that's when the competition comes in. So you want to get everybody back and healthy by that point, because that's when you're getting the big meat of your schedule coming up.
For sure. And, I'm really kind of disheartened right now in a couple aspects. And I sent this to you guys. Stott right now, he just can't hit. I mean, he's hitting 250 in his last 15 games, 248 in his last 30 games. It's a really big problem because he was a major cog in this wheel last season, hitting 285, 290 in a lot of points of the season. And then you go to a guy like Whit Merrifield, who we were all excited for. He was a kind of super utility guy who since 2017 has like the third most hits in baseball. I think he's terrible. I mean, he's an $8 million waste of space right now. I'm sorry, I hate saying that, but maybe again, as always, I just had way too large of expectations for him.
I don't think we did. I don't believe that because he was that guy up until here. I don't believe the
You're right.
expectations were too high for Witt. I think he was a guy that I really thought they brought in to get 300-400, maybe, fill in a bunch, kind of play everywhere. And he's not lived up to that. So I disagree on the expectations. I think they're right where they should have been. I just think he's been a huge disappointment for this team.
And my last problem, and we talked about this the other day when the Phillies hitting coach discussed how it's not even a conversation. The fact that Brandon Marsh, a Major League Baseball player, is not even thought about as a possibility against left-handed pitching, it really bugs me.
You shouldn't be a major league ball player at that point. If that's the question, I'm not a scout. I've never, I didn't go past like 12 years old playing baseball. But I know if you're telling me I can't bat this guy against right-handed pitching, newsflash, there's a lot of right-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
Lefties. So yeah, lefties, my fault. But it's just like if you're a major leaguer, like at this point, Marsh is what, 25, 26, Stott's 25, 26. These are guys that I don't want to hear, especially with Marsh and Stott, because they've been here for the couple of years now. It can't be, well, you got to see. This isn't, they're not wait and see anymore. This is a team you need them to be productive to win a World Series this season. Yeah. You can't have them going in and out against a pitcher because you don't like the matchup. And if they can't do that, if you're telling me he can't bat against that, he can't be on this roster. You can't have it. It's a waste of a spot.
And I agree. I'm going over. I know against lefties, Stott's hitting 227, and Brandon Marsh is hitting 152 against lefties and 296 against righties. I don't know what you're going to do beyond this season. I mean, with Brandon Marsh, he lost his job in center field. He's a good left fielder.
So bad.
I mean, when you're batting 150 against left-handed pitching in Major League Baseball, we're seeing more lefties than ever.
And especially they play matchups now with the way the matchup game's played.
So I think this is probably the last year, unless something drastic changes. And I think Dave Dombrowski sees this, hence the rumors of Cody Bellinger possibly coming here. I think we've probably seen the last of Brandon Marsh as the go-to starting outfielder, correct?
You can't, after that comment, I don't see how it's going to be tough to get through the season. If you're telling me you got a guy that can't play against lefties all, the rest of the season and postseason, it's tough because I don't like with what you said. It's, you got to put Dahl and Marsh or Witt out there. Yeah. I can't rely on those guys. I can't rely on Pache. I can't rely, regardless of how I feel about Rojas, I can't rely on him to be an everyday guy either right now.
Right.
So it's tough. You're losing a lot of at bats and a guy that you really thought highly of when you brought him here. You kind of have to. But again, tough part's going to be who you replace him with because right now there's nobody in the organization. I don't want to give up a ton of assets to go get a guy like Bellinger because he just signed that big deal.
Yeah.
But you can't win a World Series, I think, with him being a utility guy at this point. You need legit starting outfielders come playoff time. So that's at least we know this now. This is why I always said All-Star break. You know what you are at this point. There's enough data out there to know we need to go make a big outfield move.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Bellinger's contract, just for instance, $27.5 million next year, and then $25 million in 2026. That's the final 2 years of this deal. And he'll only be 30 at the end of this deal. So that might be something that could be interesting to the Phillies. It's not a horrible final 2 seasons to pick up for a guy that, for those who I'm sure watch this show, listen to it, follow baseball, Cody Bellinger is a hell of a defensive outfielder, and he can hit. And he's still young. I mean, as of right now, he is 28.
He's a guy you could take a. What are you giving up to get that guy? That's the question, right?
Yeah,
Because I think the Cubs could move him, but I
it's a
don't
good
know
point.
if I want to give up.
Right.
Like, to me, I want to give it up for a guy like a Tucker. That's that 5 tool.
I agree.
Bellinger. The tough thing about Bellinger is, yes, we all saw his MVP season. Yes, he had a very good season last year. He's having an okay season he's having a solid season, but at any point he could turn back into that 220 Bellinger, and that scares the poop out of me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Again, like he is having an okay season, hitting 270 right now.
Yeah.
9 home runs, 37 RBIs, only 4 stolen bases. But you're right. If I'm really going to make an impact, I'm going to go after Kyle Tucker. Tucker's hitting 266, but a 395 on base percentage
And then
this year.
bombs. He was till he got hurt. He was right around the league.
He has 19. He has 19 home runs. Yeah,
and that's he missed like 3 weeks already. For the right price, Bellinger, I think you can get him. If for the right deal. I don't, if you want to give me, I don't know if I want to give top prospects, but if you're giving me, what's his name's kid? What's Tampa's outfielder? Crawford. If you want to start, if you something like that, where, okay, Bellinger's young enough now, I'm okay risking that because I don't believe in that. I kind of want to see Miller and those top guys for a better deal. I don't want to worry about them here. I'm worried about them for going to get a bigger star is kind of why I want to them up.
I guess my question would be, the debate between Bellinger and Tucker, I think, goes down to money. Whereas after this season, Tucker's going to probably look for a 8-year deal at over $30 million a season. Or do you go and you trade less pieces to get Bellinger, where you have him under contract at $27 million and $25 million the next 2 full seasons? What does that look like?
See, I would be okay if you're telling me that. I think it would be easier to get Bellinger because I do think Houston's going to try to hold on as long as they can.
I agree. Yeah,
because they are in the race. Like that's where a lot of the talk earlier, and John has said it. They've come back, but it really depends. Do they want to kind of blow it up or not, or try to get prospects back? Because they have a lot of people leaving, so they're not sure. So a guy like Tucker may not fit the plans in the future. Kind of that down the road, a huge contract like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me I could, if I could go get both of them, I'm 1,000% rolling the dice and saying, hey, I'm going to take Tucker and we'll get a deal done. I have no doubt. If the price isn't super high for Bellinger, I'd be okay on that. But I would also, to me, if you have to go get one of those super utility outfielder, or just like somebody like a Jazz Chisholm, like I don't really want him, but somebody like that to come in to fill in for the season and see what's out there next season.
Right.
Because I really do. I think Soto is going to hit the market. I don't think the Yankees and him are going to get a deal done.
It looks like it's going to be that way.
So if I'm the Phillies, regardless of how I feel about it, if I can't go get Tucker, I'm okay not giving up everything for a guy like Bellinger and waiting and seeing in the offseason, or even, if and see Tucker next season. You don't know. Like, I'm okay still trading for Tucker next year. Because like I believe John said next year was so 20, even so they're gonna have to sign him regardless of something, and you could still go get him next year. So I'm okay.
He's arbitration eligible.
Through
he's eligible next year, and the earliest he could become a free agent is 2026. So you're right. A deal can still get done at any point between now and next season. So you're right.
But I would save. But Bellinger would improve this team.
He will, absolutely. Just even if it's defensively. I mean, he's going to hit probably 265 to 285 and be a Gold Glove center fielder. So that would be, again, though, the problem is with that, even with Tucker, it's 2 lefties. There's another 2 lefties you're adding to this lineup. But look, it's all right. We have 2 left-handed hitters who can't hit anyway right now. So I might as well bring in 1 or 2 that can. All right, so
left-handed hitter that leads off and can't really hit.
Exactly. Right. So okay, we're gonna wrap things up for this week. In terms of a recap, but just fun fact, we are going to be streaming live tomorrow night here with our mid-season grades. We're gonna go player by player, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what we've seen this season. Give them an A, B, C, D, or F. Grade for the midseason as we get to the All-Star break. That'll be my final show until probably right after the All-Star break. I'm going on a vacation. But I will be posting some photos on our pages and on here. I'll share them on YouTube, and I'll take some, videos. I'll be at the All-Star game in Texas, so I'm going to take some videos and post them on our page and do some clips and fun stuff like that. But we are going to be back here tomorrow night, live again, talking mid-season grades. But until then, Jay, a 6-game homestand here as we lead into the All-Star break. 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Oakland Athletics. What are you thinking?
I can't. I think at worst you have to say 4-2, and that's because you go 1-2 against the Dodgers.
Okay.
There's no scenario where I think going anything less than 4-2 is acceptable.
Totally agree with you. That's exactly what I was thinking. So definitely 4-2. I agree. And look, it might even be better than that if Schwarber and Harper both come back Tuesday night. You never know what kind of spark that causes.
I'm betting home run on both of them if they come back.
You should. That's a good one. All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Just thank you so much to our day one sponsor, SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com right now. Use that code, ring the bell, for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. Look, guys, it's the last week before the All-Star break, and the Dodgers, Ohtani, they're coming to town. So if you want to go on, head down to the stadium get some tickets. Use our code, ring the bell, for $20 off your first ticket purchase.
If Kershaw was there, I'd have been there.
I know, you would be. That's right. You'd be wearing a Phillies hat and a Kershaw jersey.
No. I would definitely. I'd have the Kershaw shirt underneath the Phillies jersey. Underneath. Jersey. I'm smart enough to know not to wear the other team's color.
That's funny. All right, guys. For Jason Kent, I'm Christy Francesco, and we'll catch you guys here tomorrow night. Thank you very much, and regardless of today, go Phils.